Okay, good evening. Thank you everyone for coming to tonight's Bread Fiesta pre-production meeting. I know this is a late night meeting, so thank you all for taking the time. I know we have some visitors in the call as well, so it will hopefully be an insightful process for you. We have representatives from all the departments here. A lot of the effort in the Bread Fiesta process is in both pre and post production. So there's a lot of planning for before I go into a project, making sure all the technology works, making sure that I've chosen a project to undertake that will be interesting for me as the primary talent, as well as in post production with the uploading to YouTube, preparing the thumbnails, writing the descriptions. There is some effort that goes into that. The production side is often just kind of flows. That's obviously the longest time because that is the recording, that is the editing, which is often minimal, but can sometimes take longer than you might think. It's longer than just like a single one-time speed scrubbing through the video. Sometimes it is just that. Other times, depending on resources available, there may be more, cuts. There may be little visual things added in, jokes or bits. We love a good bit here at Bread Fiesta. So, as well as then the final rendering process, which is a plurality of the time. Because of the fact that this computer here is 10 years old this year. So, and Windows 10 no longer supported at the end of the year, not eligible to upgrade to Windows 11, so will legitimately become a piece of junk in, 6 months? So that's cool. Super cool. But we are here today, again, for this pre-production meeting to hopefully give you some insight into the process. Maybe first we get an update on, let's start with leadership, an update on the most recent project, which was the sub-project of the 2K23 MyGM for the Raw playthrough, Season 6. So we'll pass it over to our post-production team to talk about that. Thank you for that introduction. So the 2K23 MyGM Raw Season 6 playthrough concluded last week, the day before WrestleMania in real life. So the timing ended up working out really well. There were some long breaks in that project, but that is acceptable based on resources available. We saw kind of expected views for the channel, actually above expected. Expected is probably around 0. So we did see positive numbers, which is good. An expected sort of drop off from the first episode of the section to the end. We did have that gambit also with the final episode of the Raw playthrough being named WrestleMania the day before WrestleMania in real life, with the hopes that would sort of work with the search engine optimization and the various impressions on the YouTube platform. It did not. So, worth a try. Didn't really work out. Wasn't a necessary goal in the end. The necessary goal was to enjoy the project, which I can pass it off to talent to talk about kind of how the cast of the series is really doing. So we'll pass it over to talent. Thanks again, post-production team. You do an excellent job. Really liking the thumbnails this year. Talent was really enjoying the project, is really enjoying the project. Primary talent of, on-camera talent, Bread Fiesta. So we're really thrilled to continue with that project, whether we do pause it and pick up something in the interim, or if we pick it up again. I think the talent's going to really enjoy that. The co-stars, we have Lapras here actually joining us today. She is doing good. We do have a new co-star coming in June, I believe. No update really on that, so we'll kind of see when that contract really shakes out. We're really excited to have another star on the couch joining for this project when they arrive. We'll pass it back over to leadership to kind of guide the meeting. Thank you for those updates. Really promising work. We're really excited about where the direction of the breadfiesta channel. I know that since during the pandemic, we were a little experimental. We tried more of the kind of one-shot like video review style, and those were really successful from the the metrics perspective of views and engagement. But the talent has been really enjoying the kind of more laid back, longer playthroughs of the Car Mechanic Simulator, the MyGM. So we want to be a family here at breadfiesta, and so we really want to make sure that the on-screen talent is happy and enjoying their work. So to that end, I want to give everybody a round of applause on all the teams, not just talent, not just post-production, but pre-production, editing, the production staff in general that make this all happen. This has been a really great year for us, and we're going to go ahead and keep that momentum going into the future. So thank you all. Speaking of the future, as was alluded to by our talent team, we are looking at next projects, whether that is continuing the main project of the breadfiesta channel this year, which is the MyGM. But we also are looking at potentially switching it up, keeping things lively, as it was a great ad-lib from from our main talent, breadfiesta, on a recent video that was, I can't even remember it now. Variety is the spice of life, to that effect. And so I think that will really, it's not going to shake up the channel in a meaningful way, but I do think it will be something that is, again, exciting for the crew, exciting for the talent, and something different. So we've got a few ideas to explore here. I would like to pass it over to the pre-production team to kind of talk us through some of those ideas. And then once we get kind of the ideas going and some brainstorming going, we're gonna let a lot of people jump off, and we'll focus kind of on let the pre-production team really do some of the work preparing for some of these projects. So pre-pro team, we'll pass it over to you. Thank you. We prefer pre-production, not pre-pro. So as has been mentioned, MyGM, really successful. We would like to keep that going. We would like to keep going with, as has been alluded on screen, WCW being our next playthrough. So we have the WCW, we have the NXT 2.0. Those are the two that need to be completed in order for the project to be wrapped up. We're potentially looking at a third, possibly revisiting SmackDown or NXT. We have done, and a big shout out to the post-production team, actually the production team for putting this one together. A little help from the post-production team to sort of collect what they needed. But we do have a special video that we have prepared. We're preparing a similar one for one of the other past playthroughs. So we do have that in the stock for when we do return to MyGM as an extra video. So really looking forward to that. As far as our other ideas go, we wanted to explore with the larger group 5 different ideas that we have that we're going to pitch tonight. all of different flavors. Some of them potentially a little bit longer. Some of them, may not be suited for just a regular playthrough. Might actually be excellent candidates for the Introverts Day. We have struggled in the past with finding appropriate projects for Introverts Day. Last year, I know we had a something of a debacle, I would say, with trying to find 4 different games, and the talent kind of getting a little frustrated with the process. So we've got, again, some ideas, and we're going to present them to you here. So first off, obviously, this is not one of the 5 ideas, but 2K23, continuing that, we could just not take a break from MyGM. We could just continue with the WCW playthrough right away. That is a popular option. Obviously, the talent really enjoys playing the game. It would be really it would be really fun to continue that. And some of the work we're going to do after the main part of this meeting concludes is going to be related to that project. So we know that one is coming. It's just, again, determining when. So let's talk about our 4 other ideas. So I actually want to talk about the first one that might be a good candidate for Introverts Day this year. It's a game that the main talent used to play when they were younger with their brother. And it's a game that is called Speedy Egbert, or Speedy Bloopy in other non-United States of America regions. I believe it's a French developer. But Speedy Egbert is a very simplistic platformer. It's got a very basic level creation engine. When they were younger, they used to play it as part of the a suite of games, the Win Galaxy of games, something to that effect. I believe is on the blue version of that. So similar to Spooky Castle, which is one of our older projects, was kind of seminal to the channel, and was for a time was considered kind of the definitive playthrough on the YouTube platform. So I'm not sure if we would be able to fill that category for Speedy Egbert, but I do think that for that game, some of the pros are that while we have not played the game in the full version, only really the demo that was available on that demo suite, it is a fairly simple game, so the difficulty is going to be, I imagine, not very much. So I think that will help with just keeping the tone of Introverts Day light. I will understand it's not a very long game, so we should be able to keep it fairly reasonable for the production team. I think it might be maybe a little... I'm trying to think of drawbacks to keep it fair, because we are really excited about this idea. We have considered that it might be a little too niche, too simplistic. This is, again, for the audience metrics, which we're, again, grateful to leadership for sort of deprioritizing those metrics, allowing us to really focus on the creative aspect. So we are excited about Speedy Egbert. I think it would be interesting to be able to play through that. It's very likely something that could be sat through in a single session, and if not, possibly through 2, and edited very easily. One drawback is actually the technology. So us on the pre-production team, we do think about the setup that's needed. Speedy Egbert is a game that I believe at this point is probably 25 years old. So we may need to set up, like we did for Spooky Castle, a virtual machine that runs an older version of Windows. One potential drawback to this is that We don't yet know how to do that, or rather we don't remember how to do that. And we're not really sure if what we did back when we played Spooky Castle in 2013 will work again or should have worked in the first place. So that is a risk to the project, but it is something that we would be excited to explore. So that's our first idea in Speedy Egbert. Our second idea is actually fairly similar. So it's a similar sort of like timeline to when the talent played the game originally. And this is a game we have actually back on the shelf. I don't know if I can lean here. Lower shelf here. There's 3 different, it's all like CDs, right? 3 different things there. We got PlayStation 1 games. We have music from various countries, actually. And we have old PC games. And a lot of these games are games that the talent has played, that a lot of us have played when we were younger, and would love the opportunity to revisit, or at least make possible to revisit in the future. And one of them that we chose off the shelf that we think would be an interesting candidate is this is Carmen Sandiego Junior Detective. So not a full version of Carmen Sandiego, although Carmen Sandiego was for the kids, let's be real. And Carmen Sandiego, on the back, it also says, ages 5 to 8. So we're talking difficulty real low here. It is possible, and, in talking with the talent, that they have beaten this game before, like gotten to the point where they got the highest detective rating and captured Carmen Sandiego. But that would have been a long, long time ago. So could be fun to revisit it. It's also one of these older, like educational type games. It is Broderbund. So that's an aesthetic that is underrepresented in modern media. So we are excited to kind of revisit that. Some of the similar drawbacks to Speedy Egbert, it is an older game, so will likely require a virtual machine. One thing that we're thinking about is, when we recorded Speedy Egbert, we were using Razer Game Booster, and this is coming from the production team, so production, you might be able to speak to this a little bit better. Yeah, actually, we'll jump in here and just talk about this. So we do recall when we were doing Speedy Egbert, and actually up until we started doing Car Mechanic Simulator, we were using Razer Game Booster as our recording software. Razer Game Booster was free. It produced high quality, or at least quality that we needed for the type of content we were producing. It was free. It was low resource impact. It was just a really great piece of software that unfortunately no longer does what we need it to do. I believe Razer Game Booster still exists, but at some point the ability to do screen recording was removed from that software. So we can no longer use Razer Game Booster for that purpose. It is really unfortunate. So we have had to switch. We briefly were using Fraps. I think that's what we used for Car Mechanic Simulator. So we did explore using Fraps for that purpose. Again, Fraps creates really high quality videos, but the file size is very difficult to manage. So for Car Mechanic Simulator, we were only able to record a single session at a time before we needed to do memory management, essentially. With MyGM, because that's being played on console, we're able to use the Hapog, which has generally worked well. We did have that brief technical issue around the start of April, but we were able to come up with a resolution for that. We also started doing Facecam, which, for all of these ideas, from my understanding and talking with the pre-pro team, we're not looking at Facecam for any of these. So we don't need to worry about using OBS, but we are interested in exploring using OBS for screen recording. We did that for the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, so Introvert's Day, a couple of years ago. we used OBS for that. And we actually used the new experimental gaming laptop that we purchased for the talent. And so we had some like technical hiccups there. That's learning the software. And so that is, that's a combined effort between us and pre-pro. Things to explore. But I think moving away from Razer Game Booster, moving towards OBS for our recording software, I think that is going to be a benefit for us if we do explore VirtualBox or some sort of virtual machine for this technology. I think we'll be able to record it fairly smoothly. So I'm not really... At this time, I'm not worried, but I will want to defer to the pre-pro team as we continue to explore these ideas. Thanks for letting us jump in there. No, thank you for that input. I do, again, want to say we prefer pre-production and not pre-pro. So thank you for that. So yeah, Carmen Sandiego, Junior Detective. I think that would also be a reasonable length of for gameplay. Wouldn't be too long. We'd probably be able to, for the production team, kind of knock it out in potentially a single session. I think it would be fun. It would be a really a good levity for the talent. Could it again be a potential Introverts Day project? But did want to throw that out there as an option that we're interested in. We did talk briefly about the kind of like pandemic era when we, breadfiesta was producing more, single episode video, not really episodes, just like single videos on a single game, sometimes with a follow-up. So we did that for Blue Reflection. We did that for Tales of Vesperia, the sort of like podcast. We did it with Slime Rancher. So, we tried different sort of, shaking up the formula. Variety is the spice of life, our new motto here. And that was all part of like the Defeating the Queue sort of series. So one idea we had that would be sort of in that vein. So it would be a single video. And this is sort of like a benefit to us in like on the pre-production team for like a far future project. So we're looking at WWE 2K24. So this is the follow-up edition to 2K23, still dated. We at this time we have not acquired 2K25 and currently have no plans to do so. But we have been doing a lot of like pre-production effort in 2K24. Thinking about MyGM in 2K24, which is a mode that did return for that Fallout version. Did have some changes, did have some updates to the database and to the rule sets. So we are interested in potentially playing that in the future, making that a project. But there's a lot of pre-production work for that. In particular, we were thinking about MyGM for 2K23 and the database, the various like superstars as they're referred to in the game that are available in the draft pool. There are in 2K23 there were 3 superstars who were locked in the draft pool, and in particular one of them who was locked in an active status. Meaning that they could not be removed from the game or modified at all until you unlocked them in the game. And in that case, it was through the story mode, that superstar being Ezekiel. In 2K24, something similar, except that there are 2 stars only who are locked in an active status, which I guess is one more than 2K23. The problem is that those 2 characters are not locked behind story mode. They're instead locked behind the time-gated My Faction mode. So, and it's My Faction is like a, for a quick explainer, it's like a gacha pwn sort of games. So some of these games like your Love Live, your Genshin Impact, other games of that sort of nature that are really kind of predatory a little bit. So those two characters, my faction will be shut down. It is an online mode for some reason. And so that mode will be shut down at the end of the calendar year, meaning, or possibly sooner even, meaning that those two characters need to be unlocked in this online restricted mode before the game shuts down. Otherwise, the draft pool will permanently have these characters locked in it. Now, this is ultimately not too big of a deal because you can just work around it, but it's more just the principle of potentially having a game that is permanently incomplete. We have seen some affiliates of the channel sort of dealing with that. Games that where the DLC and all that is just completely removed from the store, so they're not even purchasable, meaning that the game is forever missing content. It seems really anti-consumer. We're not really in a position to sort of litigate that, but in our pre-production efforts, we have been going through a lot of essentially grinding through that mode to try to unlock those two characters. With the unfortunate decision to microtransaction one of them, because unlocking one of them has taken 2 months to do so, and we're not even there yet. And so to unlock the second would have required even longer because the 2 months also involved getting some large, point boosts in the game that are no longer available because we already got them. So, we would potentially be looking at a grind that would continue through the summer had we not done that microtransaction. And, that is, we're not trying to put blame on anybody here. It was a decision that was made. But because we are nearing the end of that grind, one potential idea with the 2K24 game would be to do a single video style sort of review or analysis of our experience doing the grinding in the game. Grinding of the My Faction mode in particular. Some of this has been shared in writing on other platforms, on the Tumblr, on the Reddit, the latter of which we have since stopped using. We do maintain an account on there for branding purposes, but have chosen to not use it due to the impacts on mental health to the talent. So, but that's, the idea with 2K24 would be a combination of gameplay, so the actual wrestling, which is difficult to commentate over, but advantage for the pre-production side is it's a technology setup we already know, we're already familiar with, and are already prepared to do. So from that sort of effort, it's probably the lowest of all the ideas, but potential higher production impact, having to sort of come up with the novel thoughts necessary in the heat of a more action-oriented game. And I think that drawback actually brings us to our next idea here that is perhaps the most ambitious of all the ideas. So our talent mentioned this project, and we've seen this in the office of the sort of, instead of doing a 2025 resolution for New Year's, we have a bingo card. Slow to fill in. A lot of the activities on that bingo card are summer oriented, involving going outside and doing things that are difficult to do with the obligations of graduate school, difficult to do with the environmental restrictions of it being cold and rainy and wet. So now that we're entering summer, some of those will get knocked off. But one of them on there was to complete a GameCube game that we have never completed before. And when I say we, I mean I. just for the bit. Just gonna throw that in there. Turn it back on. So the idea we have, the game we have in mind is Custom Robo. This is a game that we have played, much like, again, looking back at the shelf here, we can see the GameCube sections up here on this shelf. All this right here. Hefty collection. Many of them have been completed. So, and by completed, I mean 100%, because that's how we do things at Bread Fiesta. That's a classic motto right there. Custom Robo is a game that we have played many, many times. It does have a story mode and a sort of like post game, which is more of like a gauntlet sort of thing, which is not always a favorite mode, but it is. There's a lot of unlockables and stuff through that mode. So I think that it would be nice to be able to finish this game properly and have the incentive to do so by recording it and producing it for Bread Fiesta. I think there is a risk in terms of difficulty, in that the reason that the post-game content has never been completed is because it's hard. But with effort, I think it's doable. I think of the sort of like options of GameCube games, one of the other ones that was sort of considered was Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. And I think that there's a personal incentive perhaps to do a lot of grinding to try to get all the artifacts in that game, which is wholly unreasonable, especially because the only artifact that really matters is getting permanent cure, but is an interesting idea. As in terms of like technical setup, it is. I think we may need to either use a converter to HDMI to be able to use this HPOG. We do have the old HPOG still, so we could potentially explore using older technology. Obviously generates risk, but is worth exploring. We think it's worth exploring. The final idea we have here that we're going to propose, and this is actually a sequel to one of our more, again, using the audience metrics that we don't necessarily prioritize, but was one of the more successful projects for Bread Fiesta, and that was Poke Park Wii Pikachu's Adventure. We do have the sequel to that game. We do have Poke Park 2 Wonders Beyond. I think this is a project. It is a game that was played personally and completed, not 100%, because there is the post-game, I believe, Smeargle missions, which seem absurd, but was still played. Considered to be not as good as the original. I would say personally that the original Poke Park Wii is the better of the games. But I would also say that graphically better than the main series games. So there's some built-in quips and humor right there. I think it is from difficulty perspective, obviously, Custom Robo is the most difficult of the games that we have proposed there. Poke Park, I would put, truly all the other games that we proposed are not terribly difficult. Honestly, My GM is probably the second most difficult, so I would put Poke Park kind of under that. But there's obviously big gaps there. It is for the Wii, so we would have to use the Wii U, but that is an HDMI console. The kind of drawback there is batteries. Obviously, we would need to purchase AA batteries because we, growing up, were incredibly spoiled and didn't want to use their rechargeable batteries because their usage life was too short, even though now as an adult it's the perfect length of time to be able to play games before your body starts to hurt. So, whoops. So those are kind of the ideas that we're proposing. We want to put those out there to the group. So perhaps, take some time, think about these ideas. Again, we've got a couple on there, like the Carmen Sandiego, the Speedy Egbert, that would be good Introverts Day projects. So we might, end up tabling those and saving those for later part of the year, with the understanding that the later part of the year will continue to be busy for different reasons. A lot of the same reasons for grad school. Goodness me. But there will also be the additional considerations that there's going to need to be time spent on the holidays. There's going to need to be time spent on family, and there's going to need to be time spent on the talent will need to look for a job. So being mindful of that, that's why I think Speedy Egbert and Carmen Sandiego will be good projects for then. So we may then consider, which of the other ideas are reasonable, or if we even want to just table all of them and just continue back on to MyGM. So we'll ask the other groups to kind of give us some feedback relatively soon, so we can kind of make those decisions. We're heading into May here, so any feedback that you can maybe give us before the end of the month will help us kind of decide our future direction. So we want to thank everybody for your time. Leadership, is there anything else that we need to do before maybe we conclude this part of the meeting? No, thank you. Again, huge thank you to all the teams, pre-pro team, for putting together this presentation, especially. So as they mentioned, let's go back to your groups, get some feedback put together for the pre-pro team, and then they will come to me with kind of their recommendations. I would like to maybe see kind of 2 ideas narrowed down to, and then we'll kind of make a decision between those. So all the other teams, besides pre-pro, if you want to sign off here, pre-pro team, I am going to take a step back, let you guys kind of go through your business, but I'm going to hang on just in case any questions come up. But otherwise, I'm going to kind of lead you to it. So, yeah, thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, well, just, thank you again for running the meeting agenda, leadership. I do just want to, again, ask that we go by pre-production team instead of pre-pro. All right, well, you're muted and your camera's off, so we'll just kind of assume that you are, the feedback is heard. So thanks. So for our kind of one of our outstanding tasks for pre-production is to prepare for MyGM 2K23, the WCW. There's the box. The WCW playthrough. And if there are any viewers still on the call here, I am going to note that this is going to include some spoilers for the WCW playthrough. So if you would prefer to kind of see what those plans are, as they are happening, you might want to log off here, and when we do start to produce that project, kind of get the surprise at that moment. So that being said, what we need to do for WCW, we have kind of 2 tasks. The first of which we're not going to tackle tonight, we'll probably handle that one offline, is we do need to create custom superstars in the game, in the 2K23 game, for the GMs that we want. So we want this to be a 3-player season, and we need to create. We want all 3 of the brands to be using custom superstars. Unfortunately, because the game's online servers have been shut down, we are unable to download stars, and we did not have the foresight to do so prior to those servers being shut down. So we will need to create something custom on the fly for 2 of the stars. We do have one of them already finished. But we will keep that under wraps, I guess, for anybody listening. But we do have, although I guess it's going to come out when we start working on the second task here. But the idea here then, so here's where the spoilers start. The idea is for the talent to play WCW with Ella Rubau as the character, and then the 2 challenging brands would be. I'm thinking of doing Heath Manhattan on SmackDown and Nikita Lyons on Raw. So essentially the Raw executive leadership team that we've been focusing on in the Raw playthrough, having them kind of go off against each other in a 3-way playthrough. WCW versus Raw versus SmackDown. Something to that effect. We haven't fully decided on what brand Heath is going to be assigned to, but that can be more of a game time decision. We can sort of let that to the production team and to the talent. The second task we do need to do is to prepare the draft pool. So for the Raw playthrough, we used a old version of a balanced pool that attempted to balance, specialist, fighter, bruiser, cruiser, giant, those 5 classes. That got kind of thrown off a little bit because that pool was created before all the DLC was released. For SmackDown and for NXT playthroughs, we did use an updated balanced pool where all of the classes were balanced. The key to this is the giant class. And actually, as I'm looking here, the fighter class is also largely underrepresented. So for the men, at least, for the women, we can actually, I think I can update the view here. So you should be able to see my screen here. I'm sharing the screen. Kind of my presentation here. So this is a workbook that we did share with the greater public at the beginning of the MyGM project. So back in, when did we start? Last summer, I think. So this is available. But we did put together, the balanced for women and for men here. We've got it filtered actually by default here. But what we want to do here, and we can see that this is just copies of the kind of default what's provided by the game. For the men here, this is what I was looking at and mentioning before. There's 101 active stars by default. So these are the ones who appear in the draft pool. 10 giants, 11 fighters, 31 bruisers. So it's highly unbalanced. For the women, it's even worse. While there are 15 fighters, there's only 41 stars active by default anyway. The women are wildly underrepresented in this game. But there's only 3 giants. And even there's no giant legends, and there's just the 7 local talent. So yeah, the giant class or powerhouse, however it would be preferred to sort of like refer to them, is wildly underrepresented. So that's why we created the balanced pools. You can see that it's split 8 evenly for the women. For the men, it's 18. So the goal is to try to mimic these numbers with what we're calling the new generation or the new gen. And the idea here is to take these stars that are in local and switch them with the stars that are in active, and then also with the legends. So basically just recalibrate essentially that the WCW playthrough will be done largely with the local talent. So local talent, including, the commonly present Ella Rubao, Queen Bee, Cora Cutt was also present. We had on the men's side Heath Manhattan. We'd seen Matt Adore. We'd seen a few different others, I believe. Kyle Slickman, I believe, was on my show at one point. Our show. So the idea with making these local talent the key stars is to sort of elevate and provide a different, almost novel playthrough. So that's going to be our plan for today. Is we are going to do sort of that just through the spreadsheet here. So this is almost like pre-production. We are going to prepare everything in the spreadsheet here so that we can then take it back into the game and create the draft pool so that it's ready to go when we begin production. So, pre-production team, do we have any questions on that? All right, hearing nothing, let's go ahead and kind of jump into it here. So this is going to be a little messy. I'm not really sure how I'm going to think about this. In the past, when I've done kind of drafting, I do a lot of pen and paper. I'm kind of old school like that. So let's kind of start here. Maybe what I'd like to start with. What would I like to start with? Goodness me. If I switch this around, if I sort, does it change? It does not change this. Perfect. Okay. So let's look at our 5 promo skills here. So women are also underrepresented in promo skills. And in fact, I think the men are, honestly, too. If we sort CA here. Yeah, look at how many 5 promo skills there are. To be fair, half of them are John Cena. So, we got 10 different John Cenas here. But yeah, even just on the active talent, Cody Rhodes has a 5, which it doesn't even matter. They're not even going to be in the game. Elias and Ezekiel, another John Cena, Kevin Owens, The Miz, R-Truth. Rick Boogs, for some reason, has a 5. Could not be further from incorrect. And then we've got, Bad Bunny, Booker T, Cactus Jack. Oh, boy. Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Vince, The Rock, Roddy Piper, Scott Steiner, Shawn Michaels, Steve Austin, Ted DiBiase, and Zeus for some reason. And then we drop down to the 4s. So what is going to happen, because again, if we look at just the local talent here, for the local talent, there's only, the highest is a 3 promo skill, and there's only 3 of them. I think for the women, it's even less. No, it's actually the same. So we got 3. Battleship Brittany, Clubberella, Cora Cutt, and Trixie Gambit. But most of them are coming in at a 1 here. We'll go ahead and remove the filter here so that we can see our stats again. So with our balance for the women, it was 40 and 35. So what we want to do for the women for the new gen is essentially all the local are going to become active. All the active are going to become local. Although Alexa and Becky will probably go to Legend. So let's go ahead and let's just do this. We'll put Maurice in Legend just real quick. Okay. So what I'd like to do is how do we want to do this? Maybe let's just sort this first. The 2 inactives that are remaining are just different versions of Molly Holly. So we don't need to worry about them. I think what we do is essentially, let's just start by just putting all the actives to local. Like so. And putting all the locals to active. Because that is just naturally going to create a balanced pool. In the active, at least. Local, not so much. We do need to, and I might go through and just take like the women balanced. In fact, I might actually redo this. So let's go ahead and just delete this sheet. And we'll go ahead and just duplicate. I might do that for the men also here, actually. Rename this to new generation. Because now what we can do here, and we'll go ahead and hide the notes, is because it's already like balanced by default, we can sort this here. So we'll go ahead and we'll take all the actives, we'll move them to local. And we'll take all the locals and move them to active. And I think we're already filtering out on the inactives, yeah. Which I put as Z inactive for whatever reason. So now we can sort these again, and here we go. So we do want to move 5 of the local talent over to active, so 1 from each class. So maybe we sort by class here. And so we just want to pick from our now local talent here, pick 1 to move up to active. And ideally, it should be one that, whoa, you know what? We actually need to do a couple of changes here because we do need to mark Nikita as an active and Ella Rubao as an active. So that is also going to create a bit of an issue here with like balance. Because actually, can we include the inactives here? And then sort A to Z. Yeah, so I think we are going to have to add like Eve Torres back in. So we'll just go ahead and put her in local. And then potentially one of the Mighty Mollies or one of my like custom stars like Alice Justice, who was my character for our character for the bit for the My Rise story mode. So we'll consider that. Let's just go ahead and put like Mighty Molly as the stand-in. So Mighty Molly might end up being Alice Justice, but we'll see, or it might just end up being some other character that we create. Yeah. I think I downloaded like a Thea Hale like custom star. So we got options there, but so Mighty Molly is just going to be a stand-in for that. We'll just assume that's what the yellow is. Okay, let's. And the reason we're making Nikita and Ella inactive is because we don't want to have them both being the GMs and competing. So we'll have to do the same with Heath for the men. Okay, and let's actually, before I filter that, let's do a sort A to Z, so that way there's just my filtering. Doesn't trigger any nonsense in my brain. Okay, sort by class. So now we have 85 that's balanced. So we do need to promote, balanced, because I think the Mighty Molly and Eve Torres they might both be fighters actually, or something. Well, here we go. Mighty Molly is a bruiser. And then Eve Torres, where are you at? Looking local. Here. Heel fighter. So there's some sorting that needs to happen there. Because yeah, we would have taken one out of specialist, one out of bruiser. because of Ella and Nikita, and then we added 1 to Bruiser and 1 to Fighter. So Eve will just go ahead and just put as a specialist, just as the stand-in for Nikita, or for Ella. Okay. That makes more sense. Sort by specialist. Eve Torres is now sort by that. Sort by that. Great. Okay. So now we need to promote 2 specialists to active, and just sort of recalibrate things. This is thrilling content, but that's how like pre-production goes. It's a lot of planning to kind of make things the way that you would like them to be. What I might do here also, just really quick, is that I'm going to switch Eve Torres to Legend and Becky Lynch to Legend, and then switch Bree and Stacy to Local. And we're also going to have to switch around the popularities here. I do have a plan to do that. But I'm putting them as Legend because they have the 5 promo skill. So as opposed to Bree and Stacy. And let's just go ahead and redo my sorting again because of that. We're starting with Specialist. So we've got 6 Specialists and 6 active, 9 local. We want to get 8 active and 7 local. So 2 need to be promoted. And the ones I want to promote are ones that I have not used before. So a good option would be Natalia, especially because of the 1 promo skill, which is absurd. So I think I'm just going to make that sort of executive decision. Who else have I not used? Like Brie Bella would actually be interesting, since like I don't use a lot of the legends. I have used Stacy, Asuka, Bailey. I actually have not ever used Bailey. But Bailey's a really popular star. Blair Davenport might actually be a good option. So I'm between doing Brie Bella and Blair Davenport. I might do Blair active, and we'll need to do a face heal, like switching around as well. But what that should do here is, to make sure again that that we are balanced for faces and heals as well. Because currently there are 1, 2, 3 face specialists and 5 heal specialists. So, and then that's probably unbalanced on the local as well. Although it's going to naturally be unbalanced because there's only 7, and that does not divide evenly. So, yeah, in specialists we can see right here, almost all 1 promo skill, 2 for Carolina Reaper and Blair Davenport. So, is what it is. Okay. So now all the others, I just need to promote 1. So we can kind of start at the top here. So Bruiser, we've got Ali Brawler, Billy Slugger, Clubberella, Lula Sandy, Maya T. Kirk, Trixie Gambit, and Vicky McLeod. Who would be a good option on our local talent here? Looking at the lowest promo skills, it would be Ivy Nile and Zoe Stark. I've not used Alba Fire before. I've not used... let's do this here. Because our legends then are going to be with the best promo skill, Alba Fire and Shayna Baszler. So, there we go. Sort of decides that. I've not used Molly Holly. I've not used Nikki Bella. Ivy Nile is an option. Lacey Evans. I have used Lacey and Michin and Valhalla and Zoe. So I might actually do like my stand-in character. Like if this ends up being Alice Justice, is Alice a bruiser? Alice is more of a fighter anyway. But let's just assume that whoever it is, let's just do that. And then if we have to make like a game time decision, then we will do so. But I think for now, that's good for bruisers. Okay. Next up, Cruiser. We got Carrie Rush, Danielle Wallace, Neon Brightstar, Quinn B, Sassy Molassie, Tamara Tycross, and Whitney Quaid. Our best cruisers, we got Alexa and Lita, and then Queen Zelina. I might switch local and then put Zelina as legend. Yeah. So sort and sort. Okay. So who do we got here then? We have Lita. We have, well, the lowest is Cora Jade, who I have used before. I've not ever used Candace because I don't really care about her. I have used everybody else. I don't think I've actually used Nikki ASH, so she could be an option. But I don't know. Yeah. Let's do Nikki. Why not? It's either Nikki or it's Cora or Candace. I think it might have to be Candace because I've never used her. So, yeah. All right, whatever. Sometimes you have to make the difficult decisions. Okay. So we have just Fighter and Giant left. Okay. So for Fighters here, we have Battleship Brittany, Christina Fury, Cinnamon Garrett, Cora Cut, Nova NL, Penelope Perfect, and Pretty Ruthless. We've got Maurice and Trish as our legends. We are going to switch Trish and Carmella here. Okay. And so then our fighter options to promote, we've got Trish, we've got Aaliyah, Dakota, Dana, JC, Liv, Shotzi, and Zaya. Of the lowest promo skills, we got Aaliyah, Dana, JC, and Liv. It might end up actually being Liv, because I don't believe I've ever used Liv Morgan. 2 promo skill is also completely wrong for Liv. I've never used Trish either, but so let's just go ahead and decide on Liv Morgan. Great, easy. Sort A to Z. It's not going to nearly be as easy for the men, but end of sentence. Okay, so for the Giants, we've got Beth Spartan, Jody Garcia, Karen Compactor, Precious Silver, Sally Steamroller, Sammy Vortex, and Sensational Starla. And our top Giants powerhouses, Beth Phoenix and Chyna are both at 3. Bianca, Charlotte, Rhea, and Ronda Rousey have 4. So who's getting promoted? Well, to Legend, it's going to be Ronda. And I think it's going to be Charlotte. Local. And then, like, Tamina, I guess. Just because of the 1 promo skill. That just makes sense. Yeah. So I think that is it for balance by classes. Yeah, everything is balanced by classes. We got 8 active, 2 legend, 7 local. The faces and heels are balanced, but like not within probably each class. And even like look at the legends, they're almost all heels. Local being unbalanced is fine. That's just how it's going to happen. So let's just go within each class for the active and just make sure that we are balanced here. So we'll go ahead and can I just do like this? What's the correct order? Well, we sort by face, then we sort by that, then we sort by class. Yeah. So now we've got active, we got 4 faces and 4 heels for bruisers, so that's fine. Face heel for legend, that's fine. 3 faces, 4 heels in the local, I think that's perfect. Great. Bruiser was just perfect on its own. For cruisers, we got 4 faces and 4 heels for the cruisers. For the legends, I'm just going to put Alexa as the face and Zelina as the heal. And then for our local talent, we have 5 faces and 2 heals. So I would like to put one of these as a heal. Lita, Cora, Katana, Caden, Roxanne. Lita. Done. Okay. Fighter. I see like Bruiser and Giant as the heal heavy classes, and then Cruiser and Fighter as the face heavy. That's how I'm sort of putting that. All right, so for Fighter, we have, I believe, 5 here. Yeah, and then 3 heals. So which of you is turning heel? Battleship Brittany, Cora Cut, Nova NL, Penelope Perfect, or Liv Morgan? Cora Cut. Done. For our legends, Maurice and Carmella. Maurice is a face. I could see Carmella being a face, but I think we'll just go with Maurice. And then for our local, we have 4 face, 3 heal. So that works out. Okay. For our giants, we do have 4 faces and 4 heals for the actives. That works out. All right, between Charlotte and Ronda, which one's a face? Charlotte. And then for our giants, we do have 5 faces and 2 heals. So we do need to turn 2 of you. Who becomes heals? Beth, Bianca, Dewdrop, Indy, Raquel. Let's go ahead and do Raquel and Dewdrop. Okay. And for specialists, we have 3 faces and 5 heals. So one of Andrea, Carolina Reaper, Donna Matrix, Sammy George, and Blair Davenport. Some of these names I've never seen before, or at least I have no picture to associate with a face. That's part of the reason why I want to do this, putting the local talent as the active, so I can create more of a bond with some of these characters. I might just do Blair. Yeah. And we have Becky and Eve as face heal, so that works out. And then we have more heal specialists than face, but I think that might be fine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I think the last thing we need to then do is we need to take all these popularities and kind of re-sort them. What's the best method to do that? I guess we can do... So if I take all these, copy. Let's go ahead and open up a new sheet here. Paste these. Data, sort. Is essentially just take these numbers and just like assign them out. So like we would do... actually, I want to do this data by Z-Day. So like these would be the legends. So the top 10 would be assigned to legends. And then the next, however many actives there are, 40 would then be assigned to active talent. Active. So that would be to about here, I believe. Yeah. And the rest of them would then be local. Which if I scroll to here, 35. Perfect. And then maybe what we do is I can go ahead and random.org. Is that right? Yeah, I am human. I'm not behaving like one, but I am. Fine. Necessary. Fine. So random.org has a list randomizer. And what I can do is I can go ahead and take, we'll do a, just sort by that. So we'll take the 10 legends, copy, and we'll paste them in here, and we'll randomize them. And there we go. Copy and paste. There we go. So that's who Alexa gets the top, then Zelina. That kind of worked out, so cruiserweights get a big boost. And then Giants. Yeah, all right, cool. And then we take the actives. So that's just what we'll do. So actives is going to be a bit of a mess when we actually get into not pre-production, but pre-production proper. Go back and randomize. Most popular will be Lula Tandy, and the least popular will be Cindy Fluff. Oh, Natalia and Quinn B down at the bottom here. All right, so we'll see here. We'll copy this. We'll go down here. We will paste this. So we can see that they'll go from 60 to 44. And then for our local talent, we'll then do the exact same thing. Copy. And then paste. Randomize. Wendy Chu. Least popular will be JC Jane and Zoe Stark. Too bad. All right. Let's see the difference between Caden Carter and Katana Chance when I get these pasted into here. Caden Carter at a 36. Katana Chance at a... Where was Katana Chance? Hello? I swear I just saw down at 30. Okay. Right here. 22. So, yeah, kind of a big difference there. Yeah, these three in the 10s. Bit unfortunate, but yeah, so now we can just sort of like assign these back out. I wonder if it would be easier. Now, how quickly can I do a VLOOKUP? Search key there, range here, 2 is sorted. That's not false. All right, so Billy Slugger got a 47. Is that what Billy Slugger is supposed to have? 47, Billy Slugger, perfect. So I should just be able to copy down this and just do a quick check on like our legends. Yeah, they're in like the 60s. We should be able to see. I think the Cruiser Legends got the best. Yeah, 65, 63 here. So I think this worked out. Yeah, so I'll just copy and then paste special values. Perfect. All right. So I think we're good with the women's roster. Yeah, the average popularity is 51 here. I think it's probably slightly different. I think because we move stuff around between the active and legend here. But the 26.411, 26.611, so it's a little bit higher. But yeah, I think this is appropriately balanced. We can see the active talent has a lot more lower popularities now than even the local or the legends or promo skills. So this is good. I'm satisfied with the results of the women. Now they were the easy ones. Let's move on to the men. So the men, did I do this from the balanced? No. Okay. Let's start from the balanced. because I liked the way that I assigned out classes in the balanced pool. We'll name this New Gen. Okay. Just going to real quick check that my recordings are all still working right. Yep. All right, for the men, let's go ahead and hide this column. So we have 45 local, 90 active, and 25 legends. So we're going to do the same thing. The best promo skills are going to be assigned to legend. And then, yeah, so like essentially what we'll want to do is take the top half of the active pool and move them down to local. And then all the local move up to active. But let's do the switch with the legends first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do... actually the first thing we need to do is we need to include the inactives here. So I do need to find Heath Manhattan here. Heath has to go to inactive, and we need to move somebody up from inactive, which for the men there are plenty of options. So we are just going to pick one of them. Let's see here. So we've got a lot of like legends we could move up. Some of these are just duplicates. I know there are some characters that I just straight up did not include, like MVP, who just seems so fragile. And then like Cody Rhodes, who stinks. Uncle Howdy maybe could be an option. Top Dollar, stupid. So who, if we were to just pick one randomly here, who's like speaking to me, maybe Cactus Jack, Umaga. I mean, Uncle Howdy is speaking to me because of the 2 promo skill. Diesel has a 2 promo skill? That's kind of wild. Umaga also does. Let's just do Uncle Howdy. He's stupid, but... End of sentence. He's stupid. Okay. So we'll sort again by A to Z here, and then move the inactives. All right, great. Okay, so let's sort by promo skill here. And can we do then sort by this? Then sort by this? No. Promo skill, then status, then class. Great. Okay. And I did that backwards. Promo Z to A, then status A to Z, then class A to Z. Great. Okay. So for our legends, we have for bruisers, Stone Cold, Bray Wyatt, Farouk, Jerry Lawler, and Goldberg. So we got 5 here. So Stone Cold will stay a legend. We'll go ahead and keep Bray Wyatt as a legend. What in the world is Joe Gacy doing at a 4 promo skill? I don't know. But we'll go ahead for these ones. We'll just switch Farouk, Jerry Lawler, and Goldberg to active. And then legends will be Elias, Kevin Owens, Legend, and Rick Boogs, legend of the business. Okay. That's Bruisers. Cruisers, we have our current ones are Bad Bunny, Hurricane, Rey Mysterio, RVD, and Shane. They're all pretty high. And I am loath to do this. Which means I might just switch it with one of the inactive people because there were so many inactive stars. I might switch Johnny Gargano with Doink the Clown. Johnny Gargano, legend. Sickens me to my core. All right, fighters. We have Booker T, Eddie Guerrero, Wade Barrett, Brock, and Logan. And then we have like Ezekiel and R-Truth and one of... Well, that might just be it. Is Ezekiel and R-Truth. Perfect. And then, yeah, you will go to active and you will go to active. Okay. That works for me. For Giants, we have Undertaker, JBL, Kane, Rikishi, and Titus. And we've got Big E and Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross, legend. Good for him. So I guess we just swap out a couple of these. I guess Titus and we'll go with JBL. And then promote Big E to legend and Karrion Kross to legend. Okay. And for specialists, we have Cena, Rock, Shawn Michaels, Batista, and Edge. And then we've got Miz. So Miz goes to legend. And then we'll just go ahead and bump down Edge, I think. Yeah. And those are subject to change, specifically Johnny Gargano. No, it's not right. Promo skills, A, that. Okay. So there we go. And we'll do the swapping of the legends after. That'll be the last thing I do. Okay. We're also a bit unbalanced here in local for some reason. We have two... Oh, because of the Uncle Howdy thing. Which turns out, Bo Dallas, not that tall. So, Uncle Howdy... Where'd you go? Here you are. Bruiser. Psych. Fighter. Great. Okay. Redo. Z to A. A to Z. A to Z. Great. Okay. We're balanced by classes again. So what we need to do is, like I said before, take the top 9 active stars by promo skill and swap them with the local talent. So what we'll do then is just kind of using these. So local 1, 2, and then I get to pick 7 of these. How many of them are there? That's going to do a sum. All right, great, thanks. So that goes to here. 12. So I pick 7 of these 12. And I will prioritize the ones I switch to local will be ones that I have used before. So, Austin Theory. I have used Ilya. I have used Jinder. And that's it. So I might then let's put Farouk and Jerry Lawler. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total. So I need to do 2 more. Let's put Dawkins. And I think Braun Breaker, maybe, or I have used Butch. No, I won't Butch there. Let's do Braun Breaker. Yeah, okay. And then you all become active. Great. Okay, then we just do the same for all the others. It's straightforward. That's easy. Okay. So for the cruisers, there are no 4s, so there's just 3s. And how many of them are there? 8. So I pick all of these. We'll go to local. LO. Maybe I can do this. And then I pick one of the 2s. Again, preferring ones who I have used before, which is going to be Mansois. Great. It could have been Shane. But that will just be funny. Okay, and then you all become active. Congratulations on your promotions. Okay. Do the same for fighters. We've got 3 at 4, so you all become local. Why are you not capitalizing? There we go. And then we need 6 of the 3s, of which there are 10. So let's just go ahead and Logan Paul. What are we doing here? Why are we not LO? Great. Andre Chase, Carmelo Hayes, Damon Kemp, Finn Balor, Randy, Shinsuke. Work with me here. Why are we not capitalizing letters? Local. Brock. How many is that? 2 more? Okay. Let's do Shelton. And let's do Finn Balor. There we go. Active, 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 active. Giants. No 4s, so it's just 3s. And of the 3s, there are 11 of them. So 2 stay, 9 go. And the 2 that will stay will be Commander Aziz and Otis, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Why are we not capitalizing local? Who? Lol. Teasing me. Where did I type local that did not get capitalized? Nowhere. It is literally just teasing me. Gunther. I forgot Braun Strowman. Gunther. No, Corbin stays. Okay. And then you all become active. And then specialist. Oh boy, a lot of 4s in the specialist, huh? So we have how many? 8. So just one of the 3s, essentially. Local. Okay, who has a 3 that I have used before? I have used Tony before. Montez was like my champion in... Yeah, let's do Montez. Boom. You all become active. Look at those capital letters. I don't know why local couldn't do that. Okay. Well, it's balanced by class, for whatever that's worth. Let's do a resort here of sort by class, sort by status. Do we feel good about that? Probably. We'll review the legends again. The legends, I might, again, just make more like game time decisions. Or I'll do that at the end. That's what I was going to say. So let's do sort by face heal. So, okay. We've got bruisers here. Oh, so we want to do this and this and this. Okay. So for bruisers, each one there's 18, right? So we need to have 9 faces, 9 heals. Oh, great, perfect. And then, oh, we have it all sorted wrong. So we need to do sort by this first, then sort by face heal, then sort by class. Is that right? No. Sort by status, sort by class, sort by face heal. Perfect. Five legend bruisers. 4 who got lost. Why are some of the bruiser... What? Sort by... No. Sort by class, then sort by status, then sort by role. No. Sort by role, then sort by status, then sort by class. There we go. Goodness me. Okay. So, 9 face bruisers, 9 heal bruisers inactive, so that's perfect. For legends, we want to turn 2 of you heal. So that's going to go ahead and be Kevin Owens and Bray, I guess. Bray, I might switch out with somebody else. Okay. And then for local talent, we've got 4 faces and 5 heals, so that's perfect. Great. That one's good. Cruisers, we have 8 faces and 10 heals in the active, so somebody turns face. Cedric, Giovanni, Humberto, Shane, Tazawa, Noam Dar, Joel Wheeler, Kombucha, Brute Force, Eddie Pop. Tazawa. All right, easy enough. For our legends, we have just one of you needs to turn heal. And it'll be whoever replaced with Gargano. Or whoever Gargano gets replaced by. And for our local talent, of which we have 9, we have 5 faces and 4 heals, so that's perfect. All right, moving on to fighters, we have 8 faces and 10 heals, so one of you turns face. Carmelo, Damon Kemp, Julius Creed, Carl Anderson, Dexter Loomis, Uncle Howdy, Alcy Traz, Jerry Hattrick, Nicholas Mann, Richard Kawa. Jerry Hattrick? Sure. For our legends, we have 3 faces and 2 heals. That's perfect. And then for our local talent, we have 4 faces and 5 heals. So I might want to turn one of you face. And that is going to be Shinsuke. Okay. Let's see. For Giants, we have 8 faces and 10 heels. What are we doing? So one of you turns face. Corbin, Ivar, Omas, Masse, Veer, Cash Suplex, Argus the Great, Flint McStones, Red Monsoon, or Red Flame. Like I want to do like Veer, maybe. I'm thinking either Veer or Omas, maybe. Or Flint McStones. Let's do Veer. Okay. For our legends, we have 2 faces and 3 heels. That's fine. And then we have 5 faces and 4 heels for the legends. That I might want to rethink how I do for the local. Is like, because like if the legends are balanced towards the heels, then maybe the locals should be balanced towards the faces. So I may review that in a second here, but let's just stick with what we've been doing. So if I return one of these faces heel, it would be Damian Priest. And for our specialists, oh boy, we have 6 faces and 12 heels. So we need to turn 3 of you face. Cameron Grimes, Kit Wilson, Ludwig Kaiser, Rude, D'Angelo, Gable, Prince, Chester, Slickman, Marquis, Braden the Dark, and Medical Bill. Gable, Rude, Grimes. All right, fair enough. For our legends, we have 3 faces and 2 heels. One of you needs to turn heel, and that's just going to be Miz. Okay. And then for our local talent, we have 6 faces and 3 heels. So just one of you has to turn heel. Let's just go ahead and go with Seth. All right, how does that balance work out? Well enough, I think. I mean, there's definitely, there's 2 fewer heels than faces, but I think that's fine. Active talent have all the lower promo skills. Legends have higher. Local are kind of in the middle. I think that matches what we saw for the women, who are over here. Active have the lowest. Local have the best. Legends are in the middle. That makes sense. So now I think all we have left to do is, well, let's do a sort here on status, because I do want to just again really quick look at, maybe I do a sort by name then by status. Are all these people who I want to have in the draft pool? Bad Bunny, sure. Batista, yep. Big E, Booker T, Bray Wyatt, potentially switch. So I'd be looking for a heel, somebody to fill the heel bruiser role. Eddie is good. Elias and Ezekiel, that's fine. Hurricane. John Cena. Gargano. Kane, Karrion Kross, Kevin Owens, Miz, R-Truth, Mysterio, Boogs, Rikishi, RVD, Rock, Shawn Michaels, Austin, Undertaker, and Wade Barrett. So I might consider replacing Bray. Bray might be fine. Rick Boogs and Gargano. So I'm looking for a cruiser and a bruiser. Who do we got in inactive? Who can fit that role? Other than Heath, of course. So we got plenty of options for bruisers who could replace Rick Boogs. Like Steiner could be an option, actually. Steiner might actually be perfect. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. Rick Boogs is inactive. Okay. And then a cruiser who can replace... see, so Doink the Clown. To replace Johnny the Gargano. And then just switch him to a cruiser. The other option would be like X-Pac, who I don't necessarily have a problem with. Let's just do Doink, because that just sort of tickles me. So we'll switch him to cruiser, and then make him a legend. So we'll just replace a clown with a clown. Okay, and I think I'm okay with perhaps leaving Bray Wyatt in there. I think that might be fine, because I don't think... Is the Fiend in here? Can you play as the Fiend in my jam? How would I have sorted the Fiend? Hogan. Fiend. Bray. Huh. I guess it's not. Alright. Okay, that's fine. Let's not push it anymore. So sort this, and then filter out the inactives, make them gone. Are we still balanced on everything? We are unbalanced on the legend side, so if I do sort, maybe sort this again. So legends, we've got one bruiser. So I'd want to turn one of these guys face between Bray, Elias, Owens, and Steiner. To match with Stone Cold. So probably Owens. There we go. And our cruiser's good. Yeah. Local, maybe. Can we turn one of these guys heel? Here we go. All right. Concerns have been alleviated. Okay. Then I think all we need to do now is do the whole popularity thing. So we'll just sort that. I got somebody at 70 here. Big shot. So copy that. Put that here. And then we need to do... Okay. So we have 25 legends, leg end, down to 25. Okay. So the legends will all be at 60 or above. And we'll have some active talent at 60. How many are there? 90 of them. Okay. Active. So I think at 115. Yeah. And the rest will be local. Low calorie. That's the joke. There are 45 of them. Perfect. Okay. Then we just do a sort here. And we'll go ahead and take the legends. Copy them. Go over to our list randomizer. Randomize. The most popular star in the company is Elias, as it should be. Move that to over here. Boom. Okay, then we'll do our active talent next. Who's going to be the most active, or the most popular active star? Randomize. Argus the Great. Phenomenal. And the least popular will be Olaf Ostrovsky. And I saw Kyle Slickman right there at the bottom too. Tremendous. So they'll be sitting at, 41, 42. Too bad. And then the locals will be our most popular local talent and least popular. Copy. Randomize. Seth Rollins will be the most popular, and then Luke Gallows. Too bad. All right. Unfortunate for Jinder, but such it is. And then we do our VLOOKUP here. Equals VLOOKUP. Basically did this for like 5 years at my last job. Range is this. Column number is 2. False. And just do some spot checks. We should see Elias at the top. We should see Argus the Great at 60. Wherever Argus is. Yeah, here at 60. Perfect. Okay. And then Jinder Mahal should be at, or Luke Gallows was at the bottom, right? Perfect. Okay. That VLOOKUP looks like it was correct. Paste the values. And I think we're set. Because, our legends are highest. Active. Boom. So I think this is going to be my draft pool. I just have to kind of port this back over into the video game. But I should be able to, it'll be meticulous because I will have to change all the statuses and popularities and roles and classes for everybody. But it should create a fun little balanced experience that will be completely different than any of the other balanced experiences from Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. I think it'll make it really fun. I still have some game time decisions, like what I'm going to do with Mighty Molly here. Or if I just have 2 Molly Hollies running around. Although Mighty Molly is a alter ego, so could be an entirely different person altogether. But I think that is that should end our pre-production work tonight. So I do want to say good work, team. I think we did an excellent job. Yeah, that's OBS right there. Control Shift F1. There we go. Keyboard shortcuts. Yeah, great work, everybody. Let's go ahead and finish up for the evening. So make sure you mark your time cards appropriately. If you've got any time off coming up, please make sure to mark those as well. Send your end of week status reports and whatever. Standard affair. But yeah, great job, pre-production team. For all of our viewers and visitors, I hope you found that even a modicum of insightful or entertaining or whatever. For us, it's mostly just like a record of how this sort of like process works, how a process more in general of like how kind of the breadfiesta process works, and the sort of level of work that goes into it. And how, even though it is literally just like rote spreadsheet management, still kind of fun and entertaining for me. So us, the bit. Also, I guess, can I keep up a bit for 2 hours? Answer is, for the most part. I have been Bread Fiesta. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope your day is going exactly the way that you want it to.